3D Glowing Dragon Eye Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be using some products from Born Pretty Store. I've got some mirror powders that are blue and purple, some hollow black glitter. Let's see what else was there. There was this rainbow glow-in-the-dark sand stuff. That's what I'm going to use as the base for this design. And then also some other glitter and these little stones that I'm going to use for the dragon's eye. And so, as I just mentioned, I'm doing a design with a dragon's eye that's just really cool with glow-in-the-dark background that sort of seeps through, and then the underside of the nail is really glow-in-the-dark. It's a lot of fun. It's, I would say, on the easier side of things, so if you want to do something that's kind of impressive and glow-in-the-dark that always adds sort of a extra cool element, then you can definitely give this a try, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. So here are the products that I got from Born Pretty Store, and so here's one of the first powders, and it's going to be one of the black hollows. That's the one that's got a little bit more, it's a little bit bigger of glitter. They're both very fine, but that one is a little bit bigger. And then this one is going to be one of the purple or blue mirror powder. It's really hard to tell until you start using them. And this one, some of these are very hard to open. That's going to be the glitter, the green glitter. The one thing I'd like to mention is that the packaging for these is much better than it has been in the past. One thing is that so many of these have a little sealed for your protection thing on them, which is awesome, even just for the fact that you know it's not going to leak in the mail, which I've had a couple times. And here's the glow-in-the-dark powder and the little stones. And so that's really nice. And also the little pouches that they came in seem to be a little nicer. So now the first thing I'm going to be showing you is one of those, this is going to be the purple mirror powder. So I used black gel paint, cured it completely, rubbed in the purple mirror powder, removed the excess, and applied top coat. I'm going to repeat the same process for the blue now. So you want to make sure that your black has no tacky layer. That's going to give the best result for these. And then really rub that in and remove the excess with a lint-free little pad. And then I'm going to now be doing the green glitter. So after I've got that on there, I'm not going to cure it, and I'm immediately going to be putting on the glitter and curing that, removing the excess with a brush, applying a gel sealer. And now for the black chromes, or hollows I guess, I'm going to cure my the black gel halfway and then put that on, remove it with a brush, apply top coat. And once again for the other one, I'm going to be curing it halfway. And as you can see, it's a little harder to pick up the hollow with the brush. So I used a little cuticle pusher and I scooped it onto the nail and then rubbed it in with the sponge, and I thought that worked out pretty well. And I'm so sorry I missed so much of doing the nail with the glow in the dark. My camera sometimes has a mind of its own. So basically I took a bead of clear and then I dunked it into the appropriate glitter color, or glow-in-the-dark sand color, I guess, and then you can just apply that. It's a little bit harder to apply than a lot of things because the little pieces of the glow-in-the-dark are a lot bigger, and so it takes a little bit more work to get it to be in place, and it does stick off the sides of the nail a little bit more than other things, and so you want to make sure that you really work with it really quickly so that you have time before the acrylic sets. And now I'm going to be filing it, and I did encase that, in case you missed it, I cased it with clear, and now I'm filing it with a 180 grit file to remove the bulk. And it seems like there was definitely more bulk just because that glow-in-the-dark sand, I'm going to keep calling it sand, was a lot thicker than just glitter or something when you add layers, so it took a little bit more filing. And now I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer and curing it. Once you're done with that, I'm going to be attaching one of those teal stones into the center of the nail with some clear acrylic and then holding that in place for a second. And that's going to be for the eye. And then with more clear acrylic, I'm going to be adding his eyelids. So I'm going to just sort of place a bead down and then push it and wrap it around the eye into that eyelid shape. And I'd like to mention quick, the reason we're doing this with clear instead of a much easier to see color like black is because I want to make sure that the glow-in-the-dark continues to show through the nail, and so I want to make, so you have to use clear. If you were to use black, then that would be a black spot in the dark, which is not really what we want. And once you start adding the scales on the eyes, it's really going to be important to have that glow in the dark black comparison. And now I did add just a little bit more acrylic on the sides and then pull that out into like a slit shape. And now I'm going to be outlining it so you can really see what it is. See how I pulled out that line? So that's actually a three-dimensional. I'm filling in the crevice between the two eyelids there and just outlining the eye, and I'm using black gel paint for this. And now I'm going to be adding my scales, and so I'm going to add small scales around the eyelid. And by scales, it's actually kind of like just little squarish dots You can do your scales however you like. I find this is easy and has a more lizard appearance instead of like a fish scale, which is a big difference. Fish scales, I'm gonna lose my voice. Fish scales have like an overlapped appearance where a lizard skin texture is more just sort of bumpy. And so that's why we're doing it this way. And then around those small scales, once you have them all in place, I'm going to be adding larger ones. And so these are going to fit in together better. And when you're doing this, just make sure that they're not all the same. You want them to all have their own shape and be a little bit different from each other. That's really going to help make it look like it's a natural form, not like something that you just, like, I don't know, nothing in the natural world is ever perfect. So you want to make sure that that carries over here. And so after you've got all of these into place and you've got them exactly how you like them, leaving gaps between each one as best you can, cure it halfway, and then I'm sorry I missed this part again. I'm going to rub in the black hollows. I used the finer one around the eye and the larger one around the outside. And then I added his eye pupil with more black gel paint and cured that fully again. And now on a nail form backing, I'm going to be sculpting out my little scales that I'm going to use on his upper eyelid. And so I'm going to make 6 black triangles on the nail form backing. And to start out, you just put down a little bead, and I actually did 3 because they take a second to set enough. And once they start to become a little bit set where they're moldable and not going to run all over the place, push in 3 sides just to make them nice and triangular, and then paint over them with some black gel paint and cure that fully. Once you have that cured, on 3 of them, I'm going to be rubbing in the purple powder, the purple mirror powder, and then on the other 2, I'm going to use the blue. And then after those are done with that part, you can just rub them off, make sure that that extra powder gets removed, and then glue them into place with some nail glue. And I'm going to use the tweezers to pick them up and set them in. I'm going to go every other, so I'm going to go blue, purple, blue, purple, blue, purple, blue, purple. I maybe made too many blue purples there. You get the gist. Just gone back and forth until they're all in place, and now I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer over the top of the entire nail. And when I do this, I'm going to go over everything but the actual eye itself, and then after I'm done with that, I'm going to go over the eye. That's going to hopefully help maintain the 3D aspect between the eye and the eyelids. Cure that, and you are all done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this design, and I have a 10% off discount code and all the links in the description box below, so check that out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!